It is currently Tuesday of week 23, and I have a lot to talk about, so let's talk about it. Okay, I have a ton of book updates, so I'm going to probably just try to blaze through those. First, I did finish They Bloom at Night. This is by Tran. It's a YA horror that is set in the Louisiana swamp. It was very fun. I like the way that it was written. So I would probably give it like 4 out of 5 stars. I have a whole bunch of stuff incoming because this month I'm trying to finish off my TBR for 2024, and I just ended up with way more books than I wanted to. What's left on my TBR is The Wolf by Leo Carew. I just got this and I just started this. This is a like high fantasy, dark fantasy, war, politics, strategy kind of thing. This was on my friend's TBR. I don't think that she's gotten to it yet, but I want to close out mine, so I'm starting it. Then I also have When You're Ready by Kareem, which is a memoir. I'm trying to listen to that slowly as an audiobook. It's very sad, so I'm kind of just listening to it piece by piece. And then I have What Stalks the Deep coming in. I pre-ordered that. That's the 3rd book in a horror novella series by Kingfisher, and I'm super excited about that. Then I did break down and buy How the Fox Runs. I put this on my TBR, I believe, when it came out, and I was waiting for the library to get a copy, and then they never did. And I've been kind of just looking at bookstores trying to get a hold of it, and I never found it, so I broke down and just bought it online. I generally don't buy books before I've read them and before I know I like them, but I was not gonna just let this sit at the very top of my TBR and say that I completed it when I didn't. So I broke down and I bought it. And then I picked this up in the free tiny library by our neighborhood park. And I've never found anything good in the tiny library. I've put a few things in there, but I kind of just glance at it every once in a while. And I saw this, and I really like Egyptian mythology, and this is supposed to be like Egyptian archaeology plus solving a disappearance. So I am hopeful, but I am otherwise going in blind. So we will see how this is. As far as games go, I've been kind of playing 2 games. So I'm still playing Silksong. I'm going to be playing Silksong for probably the rest of the year, probably a good chunk of next year. I am finding some days that the relentless getting killed over and over again and fighting is too much for my mushy after work brain. So I have been getting into Minecraft again. My partner made a forever server for our group of friends, and I decided that I was going to be the village restorer and that I was just going to slowly restore all of the villages around the area. So basically I'm just going to go through, I'm going to try to upgrade the houses that are already there and build the village out around what spawns naturally. So I'm not going to like start from scratch and rip it all out, but I am going to try to work with what is created and then make it better and more fleshed out. So that is my goal. I'm kind of flip-flopping between the 2 games where if I feel like super brain mushy, I'm playing Minecraft, and if I'm, feeling a little bit more alert and alive, I'm playing Silksong. So we're going to be doing that for the foreseeable future. As far as artists go, I have been noticing that Instagram is pretty much exclusively giving me artists who have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers. So I would really like it if you guys could put in the comments your favorite small artists, because I'd really like to find more artists who are more closely aligned with my journey currently and, are trying to grow. And I'd like to kind of support some other smaller artists and not necessarily keep shouting out artists that, are really established and really popular and already kind of have some upward mobility. So put those in the comments. Okay, so now the art stuff. This week I am hoping to finish the perspective lecture that I'm in currently. I think we're on like 5-point perspective, and then I think that it's going to go into how to blend perspective. You know, it might be a 1-point perspective scene, but some of the furniture's in 2-point perspective. I think that it's going to go into more complex stuff like that. I also need to write down all of the assignments on a Post-it note again, because what I really don't want to do is I really don't want to get really far behind on the assignments again, where I'm out of lecture content, but have nothing to do except for assignments. So I'd really like to get all the assignments written down that I need to complete before I move on to the next lecture so that I can start trying to knock those out. I also really would like to start working towards some sort of completed work. I've been doing a lot of studies. I've been doing a lot of just doodling because my brain is tired. And I'd really like to at least start thumbnailing a few print kind of ideas, because I don't want to get trapped in this thing where I'm always just completing sketching and I'm never actually finishing anything. So those are our goals for this week. Write down the assignments for the perspective stuff, finish the perspective lecture that I'm on currently, and then start working on assignments to kind of help me progress through this term. The school thing is going to be very complicated next week. I might end up taking next week off as like a break, because I'm running D&D Monday, which I haven't prepped for and need to write a whole bunch of content for. Then I'm playing D&D on Tuesday with another group, and then I'm traveling to Indiana Dunes National Park and Chicago with my partner the rest of the week. So I'm not going to have time to do school. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm probably going to make next week like not a week, and then just do week 24 the week after that. So I'll take you guys on my trip with me, but I'm not going to count it officially as an art week. This will be my second week off in 25 weeks, or 24 weeks. So I don't really think that that's a terrible schedule. I guess I'm just building in my school breaks, and they're just a week. I am still hoping to draw. I am hoping to take some pictures at especially like the Field Museum and the aquarium, and then doing some spreads, inspired by the trip. But I don't think I'll be drawing a lot next week at all. But we'll see. This has been a super long intro, so let's get into it. The longest noodle boy heard that we were going to go on our first vacation of the year and ran around in the yard like a crazy boy and hurt something in his left leg. We're hoping it's just a strain. He's on medicine. He's on house arrest for 2 weeks. We are still going to go on vacation. Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Some of my really old Polychromos pencils are starting to get pretty short. I'm gonna have some shorter ones in here, actually. Yeah. So all of my favorite colors, the jewel tones-ish, are ending up pretty short. So I did get a couple pencil extenders. God, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this with one hand. This was not as easy to put in here as I thought it was gonna be. So that makes me nervous because I am gonna have to swap this out. It does help a lot. Oh, wow. So this will hopefully help me use some of these really short pencils that I have left, because I love these colored pencils. Was getting sad that I was gonna have to replace them, even though there's still so much of them left. I am a little bit sad that it's kind of hard to get the colored pencils in them, because that will make it harder to swap them out while I'm drawing, but it will make it easier to do things like sketch and colored pencil, and some of my favorites like this rose gold and then this red will probably end up staying in here more often so that I can use them for sketching. So we'll see. Here's said box of stuff for carving eraser stamps. Should I have just gotten lino? Probably, but the novelty. So my partner bought me like three $1 packs of pink erasers. Okay. I got some ink so we can test them at the end. I got paint because I've seen people water down acrylic paint and paint it over it so that you can more easily see what will be dark and what will be light. And then I got these erasers from the actual craft store. I don't know if these are vinyl erasers instead of rubber erasers, so I'm wondering if these will be better to carve than the pink ones or not. I'm worried that those are going to be too soft. We shall see. Paintbrushes for the paint. And then I got 2 sets of lino cut tools. I could not believe that this was like $20-something. So I only got one, but then I realized that I didn't think that we would want to share the whole time. So I begrudgingly went on Amazon and got this set that is a bunch of different sizes. Hoping that this will give us some variety so that we can both carve at the same time. I have only carved linoleum once, maybe ever, and it was when I was in, I don't know, maybe middle school or high school. So I probably didn't get the right stuff. We will figure it out. Want to carve? No. So what I kind of feel like I'm finding is that this pink eraser is too soft. So when you try to do detail stuff, it just like chunks out. There's probably a reason that linoleum stamps and stuff are done on linoleum and not pink rubber. I have these Prismacolor vinyl erasers that were definitely more expensive than the pink ones, but not by a ton. And I have one left. And I made this dagger looking one on one of those. It turned out kind of way better than the rest, even though this was like the third total that I had made. And then it kind of just started getting wobbly again from there. I want to make one more like Taste of Arrow one, but I want to put it on the Prismacolor eraser because I'd really like to have a little stamp that I can like stamp on envelopes or something. That's what we're gonna do. Good morning. It is currently Friday. I need to keep working on studies. I don't love the way that they're turning out. So I have a folder saved with like inspiring stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through here and kind of find maybe a different style. Not totally style, but the like monochromatic washable marker vibe isn't really doing it for me. So I'm gonna try to find a different look to try to take on the studies. I was kind of thinking I really like this post. This is Gretlusky. But I really like the way that these eyes are like super, super soft with only a little bit of line art and have a bunch of different colors. So I kind of think I might try to do the studies more kind of in this feeling and less, I don't know, like hard and contrasty. Like I kind of want to try to make some that are maybe a little bit more soft. And I'm saving a lot of posts with this like pink and blue kind of color palette. This is Raw Straws. There's also pink and blue here. These are kind of pink and blue. Obviously Lowish does kind of pink and blue a lot, but so I'm thinking that maybe I'll try to kind of do some that are a little bit softer and have a little bit more color variety and are less monochromatic. Also, I don't really like the way that my latest few spreads have been kind of like, I don't know, they're not very harmonious. They're just kind of, this one's not bad. This one's all sketches, that doesn't really count. But I feel like I like how this one is all similar color palettes and all, you know, there's stuff that overlaps a little bit, and I want a little bit more of this in my newer spreads because now they're feeling very just one thing. So I'm gonna try with the next spread of studies. I have to do 7 more. I'm hoping to vary the size of the heads a little bit more and then also have them kind of flow into each other a little bit better. So that's what we're gonna do now. I probably won't even get 1 page done, but that is gonna be our goal. And I have sketched some more. So you guys saw those. This one, total fail, but we're just moving on. I sketched a bunch more. So I'm gonna color this one. I lined it in colored pencil, and I wanna see how this colored pencil takes to the water-based markers. This one I lined in navy. I also wanna see how that works with the line-based markers. This one I'm probably not gonna color. This one I just left in pencil to put the line-based marker or the water-based markers over it. The reason I'm using the water-based markers and not alcohol markers is because I do have stuff on the other side, so I don't want it to bleed through. And then this girly up here, I'm gonna do the same maybe color palette as this one, but with alcohol markers. So I didn't do pencil lines for that one. I'm just kind of trying to see how, like, build a process of how do markers interact with the colored pencils. I do want to be using more of the water-based markers when I can, since they don't bleed through. And I just drew like a civet with some flowers, and I don't know what's going to happen with that. I would like to finish these, coloring these studies. Hello. Okay, so we are going to do a little bit of an update. This video is going to end up being 3 weeks because I was traveling last week. So what I've done is 2 weeks ago was week 23. This last week would have been week 24, but I just took you guys with me on my trip, which then makes this week 24 of art stuff. It is currently Tuesday, and I do have a couple book updates, a couple game updates, and then we're going to talk about the art stuff. So while I was on my trip, I did finish The Wolf by Leo Carew. I liked this a whole lot. I like epic fantasy, but I don't love when it's super lore based and you have to like dig through a ton of gods and they try to build like the religious pantheons, and that kind of epic fantasy is not my favorite. So the lore was kind of interspersed within, within the plot and within the story, which is what I like. And it was very outwitting your political opponent and it wasn't insanely war heavy, and it was really good. The battles that were fought were very well written. They were each different, and I liked this a lot. I do think I'm going to put the rest of the series on my TBR, since now I'm building my TBR for next year. I think I rated this probably 4 stars out of 5. On my trip, I also finished What Stalks the Deep. This is the 3rd book in, I think it's the Sworn Soldier series by Kingfisher. This was great. This is like kind of gory Nancy Drew in a way, because the main character is trying to help find their best friend's cousin who has been lost in a coal mine that's probably haunted. And it's just a novella, so it's very short. I did end up rating this probably 4.5 out of 5 stars, because I feel like novellas always struggle to get the pacing right, but I thought this was paced really well, and then also was a really good addition to the story. This does mean that I've started the last book on my TBR, which is How the Fox Runs by J.O. Ellis, I think. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. As far as games go, I've still been playing Minecraft. I've still been playing Silksong. I am at the point where Silksong is very extremely hard, so I really have to be in the right kind of mental space to be able to play it, because I just keep dying over and over and over and over again, and I'm no longer making forward progress, so it's a little frustrating. I've been borrowing my partner's walking pad and walking while I play it, which then makes me at least feel like I'm doing something productive when I'm dying over and over again. So for art stuff, I have a ton of assignments to do. I've once again gotten myself to I haven't been doing the assignments regularly enough while doing the lectures, and now I'm behind. I need to do assignment work, and most of the assignments are perspective based, which makes them that much harder because that's something I'm really weak in. So I've been doing the head studies, and I'm gonna get back to that this week. So I should be able to finish that, but otherwise, I'm pretty far behind, so I need to get caught up. I am currently saving up for a good scanner, because I am finding that I think I'm going to end up mostly doing traditional art and then scanning it and then maybe souping it up a little bit digitally. I think that's what's going on right now. Obviously, I've taken a pause on the sticker thing, and I think I'm going to keep pausing on the sticker testing, the Cricut testing, until I have the scanner so that I can scan in things and make nice stickers and not just make test stickers. I guess our plan this week is going to be to knock out as many assignments as possible. Let's do it. Okay, I think this spread is actually done. I did want to do something with this guy, but I just don't like it enough, so I'll probably do more civets. This turned out so cute. One, the purple over the yellow for the hair looks so cute, and I really like this round head. Generally I do a little bit more long heads, but I love how round this is, and this hair shape that's like a triangle is really cute. My head studies assignment is done. So my 10 head studies is done, and then my head for memory is done. I did kind of end up cheating it a little bit because I did kind of turn it into something, but I did the head for memory and I didn't do anything exciting. It's just face on, but whatever. We did it, and we have two more assignments to do before I head into week 6 of term 2. That's gonna have a couple more assignments before I get into lectures, but that's okay.